My roommate told me, if you don't like it, leave, when I asked her boyfriend to stop using my toothbrush. I said, great idea. 3 weeks later, she called me sobbing because her apartment had turned into a frat house. I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with Hazel 6 months ago. Both our names were on the lease, rent split at $950 each, and I got the smaller bedroom. The first 2 months went smoothly. We had different schedules, stayed out of each other's way. Then she started dating Chris, and suddenly my quiet apartment became his personal crash pad. I came home to find him sprawled on our couch with his gaming computer hooked up to our TV like he lived there. His gym bag sat in the hallway, his work boots by the door, and his protein powder had taken over the kitchen counter. Then one morning, I found my toothbrush sitting there wet, like someone had just used it. When I asked Hazel, she rolled her eyes. Chris forgot his toothbrush. It's not a big deal. I told her it was absolutely a big deal, and she said I was being dramatic over a toothbrush. That same week, I noticed my $45 curl cream was almost completely gone. I'd bought that bottle 2 weeks earlier, and it was supposed to last me 3 months. Now it was practically empty. I checked the shower, and my fists clenched. My leave-in conditioner was gone, my styling gel was down to the dregs, and my $60 deep conditioning mask looked like someone had scooped half of it out with their hands. When I confronted Hazel, she admitted Chris had been using all of them because he thought they were communal shower supplies. My curl care products that I kept in a separate caddy with my name written on it. I told her he owed me over $200, and she laughed in my face. It's just hair products. You need to stop being so uptight about this. The guy had been using my curl care routine like cheap 3-in-1 body wash, and she thought I was the problem. I decided to try being reasonable one more time. I sat her down when Chris wasn't around and pointed out that her boyfriend was clearly living with us at this point, sleeping here every night, eating our food, using our utilities. Maybe we should split the rent 3 ways. She looked at me like I'd suggested something absolutely insane. He doesn't live here. He's just staying over. I reminded her his clothes were in her closet, his deodorant in our bathroom, his leftover takeout in our fridge. I couldn't remember the last time I'd seen him leave to sleep somewhere else. She said he only used her bedroom, so we were using equal space. I pointed out I had the smaller bedroom while his gaming setup had completely taken over the living room. She crossed her arms. If you have such a problem with my boyfriend, maybe you should find somewhere else to live. She doubled down. Seriously, if you don't like it, leave. Something clicked right then. I smiled. You know what? Great idea. The next morning, I called my parents and asked if I could stay with them. They said yes without asking why. I waited until Hazel left for work and packed everything into my car until my bedroom was empty. I called property management and paid the $1,900 penalty to break the lease. The woman explained Hazel would be responsible for the full $1,900 monthly rent unless she found someone or broke the lease herself. By 9 p.m., I left my keys with a note saying, "Took your advice. Good luck with rent," and texted Hazel a picture of my empty bedroom before blocking her. By the next morning, my email was flooded with frantic messages. The first called me childish and overdramatic. The second demanded to know how she was supposed to pay full rent. The third said I was selfish for abandoning her. I deleted them all. Days later, property management called and mentioned Hazel had come in crying, begging them to take her off a lease or find a new roommate. They told her she could break it and pay the penalty or cover rent herself. She asked if Chris could take over my portion, and they said he'd have to apply and pass a credit check. He never bothered. A week later, my neighbor texted asking what happened. I explained, and she said Chris was still there every day but looked stressed and miserable. She could hear Hazel and Chris screaming through the walls every night, massive fights about money and responsibility. 2 weeks after I left, my neighbor sent another text with news I wasn't expecting. Hazel and Chris had moved 3 of his college buddies into my old bedroom to split rent. The place had turned into absolute chaos. Video games and parties at all hours, trash piling up in the hallway, and she'd seen Hazel crying in the parking lot multiple times. One of the guys clogged the toilet so badly it flooded the bathroom and leaked into the downstairs neighbor's unit. Hazel tracked me down on Instagram begging me to come back because Chris's friends were destroying the apartment, and he'd started staying at his parents' house on weekends to escape the mess. I didn't respond. Last I heard from my neighbor, one of the guys stole Hazel's laptop for beer money, and she'd broken the lease to move back with her parents.